Hello, everyone, and welcome to another webinar by Royal Cyber. My name is Ali, and I will be your host and one of the speakers for today. Now, some ground rules for a smoother experience before we begin. If you cannot see my screen or hear me properly, kindly notify me at the chat window located at the right side of the pan. During the presentation, you can post your questions and comments in the chat box anytime. Also, there will be a dedicated session for question and answers towards the end of this presentation. Your questions will be answered in the sequence in which they are received. Additionally, you can post your questions or write to us for a follow-up information on the email ID shown here, which is info@royalcyber.com. And finally, we would love to hear back from you about today's session by completing a short survey, which will be shared towards the tail end. Okay, so in the next 45 minutes, we will discuss how we can seamlessly migrate from WAS to Liberty using our solution and what are the best practices and proven strategies we have adopted for this migration. Now that's me on the left hand side, and on my right side is one of my great colleague and a knowledgeable speaker, Mr. Farouk Zuberi. Farouk is a seasoned IBM certified solution architect and a product lead with a strong product background. Now let's discuss what we'd like to cover today. So we will start off with the WebSphere Liberty overview. We will talk about WebSphere to Liberty migration overview, the feature sets which are used. We'll jump towards the demonstration. We'll talk about return on investment and benefits. And specifically for our attendees today, we have an exclusive webinar offer for which you guys will be able to take a benefit out of it today. And then falling down with the question and answer session. So we will open the floor for the audience to ask the questions. Now let's have a quick glance at Royal Cyber. We're a mid-sized IT consulting and digital transformation company specialized in services, solutions, and softwares. We have over 2,000 plus employees globally, and our headquarters is in Naperville, Illinois, with a global presence of offices in Canada, the UK, Australia, and the Middle East. We do have multiple offshore development centers in India and other Asian countries. And our strategic partnership with several technology companies providing best of the breed software and solutions such as IBM, Microsoft, MuleSoft, SAP, Google Cloud, com- coupled with business agility and following the Sun delivery model makes a Royal Cyber an obvious choice for our customers globally. We've got some of the awards and recognitions as well. We've got ISO certifications. We've got ISO 27001 2013 certified and some of the prestigious awards as well. Okay, so as part of this digital transformation practice, we do offer expertise in areas such as cloud enablement, middleware and integration with some of the top-notch technologies and uh, that fall under this ambit, enterprise modernization, DevOps and automation, and data and analytics. So finally, we'll be talking about WAS to Liberty migration solution. Now, I would like to give you an overview of WebSphere Liberty, first of all. So the product offers monoliths or microservices in which it's very simple to gain the advantage of both monolithic applications or microservices based applications within the same runtime. So even if the organizations may have different architectural needs, you can still use this. And we will be showcasing this to you in the demonstration. Now, the product offers the breadth of API support, and it enables you to have the APIs that developers can take an advantage of. For example, all the industry standards that are there, like micro profile or Jakarta EE, that can be that is there. Open source frameworks such as Spring Boot is already there. And then for the older APIs, let's suppose you have older applications unchanged. For example, it supports the Java Enterprise version 6, 7, or 8. From a developer tools for rapid iteration, the product allows developers experience to be more productive. So the new Liberty tool are intuitive and powerful developer tool that integrates with Java's most popular development environment, Eclipse or Visual Studio or Intel IJ. And with Liberty tools, developers get editing and code assistance to help them efficiently develop, test, and debug cloud native applications that uses microprofile and Jakarta for open standards. Then we have microprofile application performance, and using the cloud or the serverless architecture styles that we've created, a need for rapid dynamic scaling of application in response to fluctuation of workload demands, which means that when the workload demand is low, the application needs to scale down to reduce the optimal cost, known as scale to zero. And then when the demand increases, you can create an instance of the application and runtime uh, at a runtime, and you can provision it by scaling it, quickly, uh, so that the experience is not hurt at all. Therefore, the startup time to run and play a significant part in the application performance and optimizes the cost itself. Then we have efficient cloud resource utilization, and the optimal and successful use of computing resources in the cloud computing environment is basically what this product offers, which is the efficient cloud resource utilization. Um, it obviously understands the critical needs of the organization, aiming to optimize the cost, enhance performance, and maintain a flexibility in the dynamic computing environment. And then obviously continuous monitoring, optimization strategies, and adoption of best practices contribute to achieve efficient resource utilization in the cloud. And it offers the modern DevOps deployment. And ultimately, the goal of DevOps is to increase the effectiveness, speed, streamline the cooperation between the development and operations team. So all of this can happen in the WebSphere Liberty. So overall, the product has now excuse me. So the product has now um, covers some of the key areas which basically are needed for the um, newer development, um, uh, needed from a newer development point of view. Okay, then we have vast to liberty migration solution. Now, what is this vast to liberty migration solution? So vast to liberty migration solution is powered by Royal Cyber, and it will help you to migrate Java applications which are deployed on VAS and quickly migrate it to Liberty. It also supports all your reporting structure as well. You can migrate it 4 times faster compared to the normal process that you have, or the companies try to build. It optimizes your migration process and produces a huge cost saver for you, in terms of that the application allows the migration to happen really quickly, and then without the utilization of too many resources, you'll be able to save a cost towards the productivity. It leverages the IBM transformation advisor to perform activities, and of course it provides the migration summary report as well. And you can see the demo in the demonstration. We will be showcasing it to you, the multiple migration summary reports, in order to get a confirmation that the migration is the activity is completed. Okay, what are the features? So the features includes, it is very easy and simple to use, and supports the multi-platform. For example, if you're on Windows or Linux or AIX or OpenShift containers, so there's no limitation of a platform itself. Then it's a one-time setup to configure the solution, and once that is done, you can migrate your application from WAS to WebSphere Liberty. It's a single click for a backup and migration, supports both binary scanner and transformation advisor. It supports both server level or application level migration. In the application, it recommends the change recommendation reports, creates a summary report, and supports all the n number of cluster migration as well. And the approach that we have taken so far is that from a source, from the WAS application, when you're going to migrate, you'll have two options. You can go through binary scanner or IBM transformation advisor. It will analyze the WAS application. Once the application is analyzed, it will create the review impact and recommendations. After that, it exports to the file server. Now, once that is done, you'll have to go into the target server where you'll have import from the file server. You'll select the application to migrate. You'll deploy that on Liberty server. You can do these steps manually, or if it is done automatically, you'll get a summary screen for application status, and then refactoring of application that are failed deployment. So that's how the migration approach works here. Okay, then these are some of the demo screens that we have. So we have this source screen where we have the migration approach as transformation advisor, and then we have the target as application deployment, which is using the local transfer mode. Okay, and then we have the source application details. We have all the applications listed here. We have the assessment report, which is here. We have all the event logs, which are here, such as you can see that, the VAS analysis started, then management analysis started, all the analysis. Once it is completed, it is going into the target where all the applications are deployed, and then, the event logs talking about the status of it, that the deployment started, completed, started, failed, started, completed. And that's how you'll be able to see all of the um, results, and we will be showcasing that to you in the demonstration just after this now. Okay, this is how the target application details appears, where we have the summary, where we have account WAS, and then the base URL, the customer management, and then for the payment management, the status is still the red. So that's how it appears in the application itself. Okay, so moving forward, I will hand this over to my colleague Farouk, and Farouk will take you through the demonstration. And after the demonstration, we will just discuss the return on investment and then talk about the specific offers. So over to you, Farouk, for this.
Hi everyone, this is Farooq, and welcome to another series of Migration Accelerator. This time we bring traditional WebSphere to WebSphere Liberty migration. So before starting anything, I just want to start with a brief introduction of the demo so that everybody will understand what we are trying to do, and how today a traditional WebSphere application server is used within the enterprise, and what is the use of the Liberty, and how we're going to migrate the existing application from a traditional WebSphere application server to Liberty, and what is the need. As we already have discussed in the presentation that why we need to use Liberty, but I'll just try to explain from the application development perspective that what are the advantages Liberty would have moving from a traditional WebSphere to WebSphere Liberty. So if we understand in today's market, WebSphere application server is been used as to deploy the core application. So for example, in your enterprise, if you have some BPM, if you have some integrations, you have some ERPs, all ERPs are basically need to connect some of the core applications. So ERP will do their own part. For example, SAP HANA will do their own financial um, reportings or financial management things. For example, if they have some ticket management systems, they will do their respective applications. And for example, if we have something like in case of banking, we have a core banking. Like core banking, you have to either work on a core banking with fixed length messages through your ESB, or you have to work on MQ from your ESB. But sometimes what happens in some modern solution oriented organizations, they create some core services, and then your ESB, rather than talking directly to your core banking or your you know ERPs, they write a layer for a microservices layer or any Java specific monolithic application that can talk with integrations to do the respective you job in case of, like, for example, I was taking example of core banking. So core banking would have a different departments. Like if you need to work on accounts, if you need to work on payments, if you need to work on refunds, all these applications gonna connect to their respective core systems to give the results, to read the result, to write the results. So to achieve that, we always need some applications, or domain specific applications. So today, normally WebSphere, we deploy a monolithic application mostly, and companies are moving from monolithic to microservices. But uh, to do that, some of the companies are writing microservices but deploying on a normal traditional WebSphere. So now IBM has introduced that a new version of the WebSphere, which can be used as a first step towards the microservice journey. So let's say we'll do step by step movement of our application or an environment from a monolithic environment to a more microservice oriented environment. So what we need to do is, the first is to create the infrastructure that will help to move from a from a monolithic to a microservice environment. So that's why, if you talk about today, traditional WebSphere, if I need to move my applications from monolithic to microservices, I can do that even in a traditional WebSphere application. But the thing is, it would be like I have to deploy uh, all my microservices in one container, one application server. I'll deploy my all the applications. So it would be microservices in in development perspective. But when you need say the containers concept, it won't be there. So every application will share the same configuration. It will share the same runtime. So it won't be a more microservices deployment oriented architectures. To do that, we need to move from a traditional WebSphere to WebSphere Liberty first. So that's why this in this demo we'll try to focus the first step which we need to do, so that we'll not touch the applications. First, what we need to do, because the business is important to us. We don't want that in any migration business won't be would be impacted, and we don't want to spend too much time to convert our application, so that we will have uh, uh, and we don't want that we lose the business in this journey. So it has to be transparent. So first, what we can do, we'll take the application as this monolithic application and we'll change the runtime. Once runtime is changed, it WebSphere Liberty can give us both deployments. It can deploy as a normal traditional WAS, plus it also can give us the advantage of a container deployments. So that's why the first important part is to move the runtime and have a runtime that have both capabilities. And once we have that, we can easily, create new applications, or update our existing applications. Um, so the runtime should be there to help us achieve what we want to do. So that's why we are trying to do here. We have existing applications deployed on WebSphere, and we want to migrate into our WebSphere Liberty. So for this, specifically for the demo, because these are the Java application and we are using WebSphere and WebSphere Liberty CLIs to achieve our goals. So in the real demo, to run the application, the each activity, it might take 2-3 minutes. and that would not be feasible for a demo to show in a real time. So what we have done, we have already um, you know created a static demo in which the real application will be shown, but we'll skip the activities just to reduce the time, and we'll talk on touch points which is important to understand. So this is our existing WebSphere application server, and we have a bunch of applications which are deployed here. If you can see, I have tried a couple of applications and giving me data. These are just a sample application. We could have a lot of application. We can have a traditional uh, uh, micro HTTP services. We can have the SOA services. We can have over EJBs. We can have Spring Boot application. We can have a UI, any kind of application which can be deployed on WebSphere. We can have that, and our application would take those applications and will try to migrate into new WebSphere Liberty seamlessly. And you just need to move your application, and then it start working into the new environments. So that's the source. Before starting, that's the minimal configuration in our application. We'll just give the source detail, that what is the IP address with the username, password, what is the directory to take the backups, what is the HTTP port, admin ports, HTTP or HTTPS, so that we know that which protocol we need to work on. So just deliberately I kept source as HTTP, and for destination I kept it HTTPS. So let's move to our application. So for application, once we'll start on a source side, we would have this kind of UI where you can select that uh, from the source. You can select that what I need exactly. So you will give the VAS installation path. It will go to the the configuration which you have given. It will take the connectivity detail, and it will try to connect over SSH to this directory to fetch all the installed applications. We have two migration approaches. We have a binary scanner and we have transformative advisor. So whereas IBM has given a utility as an transformation advisor, which can help migrate our existing application and have analysis on that if we need to go to the WebSphere Liberty, um, what are the things we need to understand? What is the technology change? What would be the impact in our applications? How we need to understand the operational behavior moving from traditional to WebSphere. So all these things will be covered in different kind of reports, so you can analyze. And once your analysis is done, you can easily move your applications from uh, traditional VAS to VAS Liberty. So I'll try to uh, do the transformation advisor because that will give more reports. In case somebody doesn't have the transformation advisor, because you have to set up it, it comes as a Docker image. So you need to deploy that in one of your build machine, and then you need to connect this application to your transformation advisor. If you don't have that, and some company don't want to do that, then of course we have a binary scanner, and this is a utility that comes as a CLI with the VAS Liberty that you can use to analyze your existing WebSphere application, and you can easily get a migration plan and you can move into your WebSphere Liberty. So we'll start with the Transform Advisor. So once we'll um, go to the next screen, what it will do, it will fetch the existing application from your source WebSphere application server. So if I'll go to the source and we'll try to see the applications. So session is so we can see we have three applications. Our applications are up and running. Uh, so these application was fetched by uh, our utility, and it will. So from here you can select whatever you want to select. You can select one application. You can select all application. So for instance, I will select all and I'll try to analyze it. So there are two options. First, you have to analyze. So you will see all the reports which are there. And once the reports are there, you can actually migrate it to a new runtime. And the runtime connectivity, as I mentioned, we already have defined in the configurations file. You can all, and this application will connect to the repository configuration to connect to the uh, WebSphere Liberty. So it can be on a same virtual machine, it can be on a cloud, it can be anywhere. We just need a connectivity from our application to both source and destination. So if we'll analyze, it will generate three reports per application. So if we'll try to see, for example, account, and I want to analyze what is there. So it's a detailed migration analysis report. So this report will give different options that what is inside our applications, what you need to do to migrate it. If you'll go one by one, there are some analyze rules which it has applied. Um, there are some configuration which it is suggesting that you need to go and look into it, because we need to understand when architecture is being changed, there are a lot of operational activity that's been changed. So these reports will help us moving from a traditional VAS to WebSphere Liberty. You have to understand if you need to change from a normal deployment to a Docker deployment or more container deployment. What are the things you need to understand? So these reports is going to help you. Inventory report will basically tell us what are the assets in this application. So how many jars are there which is needed which this application has a reference with. So an important aspect is if we have a Java application, like my application is built in as a Maven application, so it needs some Java libraries with it. So the idea is we need to bring all those library as one package, so that when we deploy it to the WebSphere Liberty, it should be there as a one package. So all this detail is there, that what are the dependencies needed for this application. So for instance, other than jars, my application need a JDBC connectivity. My application need a MQ connection factory. My application need external URLs. So all these details will be here, so that when you analyze, you should know that what are the external dependency my application are having, so that I have to identify and either need to give the same dependency, or I need to change to in a more microservice oriented way. I'll keep in the applications, I'll remove all these external dependencies, well, I'll try to change something. If there is nothing that I want to change, I can move as is. I can deploy my monolithic application as is in a Liberty. So I will have both flavors I can get. So once we'll finish our analysis, we actually can migrate. So it will take some time to migrate all our um, applications, and it will package our application in a way. So for example, in traditional WebSphere application server, what happens is we have all the applications, and all the applications are connected to one server.xml, the big XML, which contains basically all the configuration of the server, each application and the configuration. So what it will does, when we'll migrate, it will package each application with its separate server.xml. So if you need to deploy in in one singleton WebSphere Liberty, you can do that. If you want to deploy as a container image, you can do that, because each application would have its own dependency and a server configuration file separately. So then I'll just try to uh, show you how we have done in the target side. So you need to select target, again the same thing, and I can select in target two application. Do I need to deploy as an application deployment, or I need to deploy the container deployment? So I'll choose a application deployment for now, because in the source I have selected as a monolithic application. If you have, or you think your application doesn't need any external application, I can easily move into a container. I can select a container deployment, and what our application will do, it will convert that ER with the server configuration file into an image, and we can push that image into a registry, and we can easily keep that as a latest, and we can deploy this into a directly into WebSphere Liberty. So any strategy we can define, it's easily as a plug and play. Um, or if you don't want to change anything, you want to keep as is, you can always use the application deployment. So once you'll go next, it will fetch that you have these backups uh, in your repository. So both source and destination are connected to the same repository. So when we took a backup, we gave a path. It takes the packages, put into there. When we run application on target, it automatically detect that I have these applications in my repository. Do you want to migrate this into WebSphere Liberty? So once we'll hit deploy, it actually will connect to WebSphere Liberty, and it would try to deploy application one by one. Um, Once you will click that, it will open a migration summary for you. Whatever application you think that it runs successfully, it will show you as a green status. And anything which it will not do, it cannot start automatically or needs some dependency, or something is missing, it will give us an error, and you can check and verify what is missing, and then we can always go again and verify and check again, and do the cycle iteratively. So once my application is moved, what I can do, uh, I can try to run the Liberty. So I have given 955. I just try to run my admin console. It will just take default username and password. So if I'll go to the Explore, it will just take some time to load the screen. And you can see the three applications are here, and all three are running. So if I just try to click this, or maybe if I just do right here, slash. So my all three applications are here, all are running. You can see, what is the status, and you can see all the monitoring and traffic. So this is a different dashboard now in WebSphere Liberty. Each application, you can see it's uh, different dashboard. So all the traffic, heap memory, all the memory related or application traffic related information you can see in each of the application dashboard. As I said, that now they have given a capability that you can use it as a traditional WebSphere, and in future, as a second step, if you have moved that, you can take each application and deploy deploy them into a different container. So each one will have its own WebSphere application instance running, and you can monitor these application using WebSphere Liberty dashboard. So this is the good feature. Now I was trying basically these applications. I'll try to hit one of them uh, into my target, and I'll see what will happen. So I'll just paste there, and I think for I give 9085 HTTP port, and if I click that, I can get a response. So the same service which was running on my source, I can migrate that into destination seamlessly. So as I said, that's the first step. Change your infrastructure from monolithic to more microservice oriented application development. Once we have that, and we don't want this to be done in years. We can easily move that. Once we have that, we can easily prioritize our applications. We can take one application, convert it, move into microservices architecture, and deploy as a separate container. All others still can deploy it as one standalone WebSphere application server, and we can one by one achieve our goals. So that was basically a short a demo. Of course, I cannot explain each and every concept, but in upcoming uh, webinars, we are planning to show you guys more features what we can achieve in WebSphere Liberty. So stay tuned, and thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And if you guys have any questions, we'll just discuss at end of this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Farooq. I think this is insightful. You have demonstrated the product very well. And now we will talk about some of the benefits and return on investments on this product. So we have faster time to market compared to the manual process that customers tries to follow. We have the reduced migration effort by 70%. So compared to the manual efforts, it is reduced to 70%. It is platform agnostic. No matter whatever platform you have, we will be able to do the migration. Best practices are being there. Sorry, excuse me. Easy to use, and then better visibility of migrated environments. Okay, so here we are. So for our attendees today, we have this complimentary assessment offer. This is an exclusive webinar offer for the audience who have attended this session today. We are going to offer the complimentary assessment worth $3,000 free for this webinar for these webinar attendees. And what we are covering is we're covering the backup, assessment, and migration of one WAS application to WebSphere Liberty server. We are going to generate a report with change recommendations for the one WAS application and migration summary report for one WAS application, just to kind of showcase our capabilities. And then we'll be able to drill down into your further requirements and understand it well to give you um, better ideas and position the right uh, application and technology to you guys. Having said that, this is an exclusive offer today for our attendees. So I would suggest that whosoever wants to opt for this session, please write to us in an email or drop a message so that we can then engage with you. Okay, so moving forward, we are moving into our last part of our call, which is the webinar's question and answer session. And we'll be happy to take on all the questions. So I'm now gonna um, see the I'm gonna respond to all the questions and questions that you guys have today, and then we will in the meantime, you can let me know if you have any further questions. So let's move on towards our first question.